What a load of old tosh.
What the hell are you?
We are Venom.
Hello everybody and welcome back to Rosenthal Reviews. Today we are talking about Kraven the Hunter. Firstly, apologies I haven't been as active on the channel over the past week or so. I've been busier at work and I've been experiencing some technical audio issues. But we're back today with a Kraven the Hunter review. If you haven't seen this film, lucky you. I mean, don't worry, it's spoiler free. You can still go and have a good time at Kraven the Hunter and watch this review. So Kraven the Hunter is directed by J.C. Chandor and stars Aaron Taylor-Johnson, Russell Crowe and Ariana DeBose, to name a few. And throughout this film, we follow Aaron Taylor-Johnson, aka Kraven, as he embarks on multiple journeys of revenge, and there's other stuff that happens, and yeah. For those that don't know me, I like to consider myself a positive, upbeat guy. I like to see the good in everyone. I like to see the good in films. I consider myself more of a fresh over a rotten tomato kind of guy. And I thought the same when I started this channel. Movie crews have way more talent in this space than I could ever hope to have. So I thought, right, I'm going to start this channel and appreciate what they do. And I still stand by that statement, in spite of what I'm about to say. Apologies for the language over the next 5 seconds. Mum, if you're watching, please just turn the volume down just a little bit. Done? Good, okay. Kraven the Hunter is fucking shit. And look, to start with, I don't even think this is a misalignment of expectations issue. You might be thinking, oh, James, you were just really hyped to see Kraven. You thought he was going to be how he was in the Spider-Man 2 game. No, I was kind of excited for this movie throughout the year. I liked the cast, but I knew the reactions coming out of the film weren't great. I know that Sony's been pretty appalling recently, so I went in with solid, tempered expectations. I went in wanting to see some cool action, maybe a decent plot, characters that might speak at the right times. But no, even those expectations apparently are too much for this film to handle, because this film is the worst I've seen this year. The plot is all over the place. We've got characters that have wafer-thin origin stories. We've got action that's quickly cut and it's really hard to see. The dialogue is forced, wooden, clunky, lifeless. Guys, this was so disappointing. Aaron Taylor-Johnson really does look the part. The end shot of this film, whilst it was really good, it made me really sad because I kind of thought, in another world, in another universe, this guy would have made an amazing Kraven. And whilst he isn't quite the Kraven that I hoped for, I thought he still did a pretty decent job. I liked Russell Crowe's portrayal of Nikolai, who's Kraven's dad. He has this Russian mob gangster vibe to him. I would have preferred Kraven to have adopted that kind of persona to kind of mesh with what we saw in Spider-Man 2's Kraven, who, by the way, is way better than the impersonation of Kraven that we see in this film. Some of the action is pretty good. There was one scene in particular involving a chase, which had Kraven doing a bunch of different tricks and parkour. There was this one leg break shot which was pretty cool as well. Kraven got this guy right beneath the kneecap and just above the calf. Freaking kicked him there, his leg gave way, and as a result I made this sound. But yeah, that's it for the positives, I'm afraid. Let's start with the dialogue. This film spoon feeds everything to you like you're a kid, like everything needs to be explained to you. And to be honest, what they're explaining, it's not that interesting. However, what annoys me more is just how wooden and forced and clunky this dialogue is. I mean, honestly, it's awful. I can't tell if it's the actors themselves or if it's the writing. Either way, I'm pretty sure it's a bit of both, but man. Again, I don't like to go in on movies too hard. Like, I like to see the good. But there was times in this movie I was laughing out loud at the movie at how bad this dialogue was. There was one scene at the beginning of the movie where this person is describing this Black Panther herb-like potion to somebody, and it was, this potion has been in our family for generations and has many important ingredients, nutrients and line. Even just general conversations between characters that should be filled with, say, for example, a bit of romantic tension, a bit of love for a family member, or even a bit of fear. There was nothing. It was lifeless. As much as Venom 3 isn't the best movie in the world, at least that Sony movie, it had connection. There was something there between Eddie and Venom. There was a soul to that movie. There is none of that here. There is one redeeming thing in this area, I will say, and that's to do with Kraven's hatred for his father, Nikolai. You felt the weight of these scenes, you felt the hatred, you felt the emotion. These scenes were pretty good, and I think that's mainly down to Russell Crowe and the Nikolai character. Let's talk about the action in this film, because I'm a sucker for action, as most of you know. Well, no, apparently not, because when you do see action in this film, which isn't, to be honest, that often, you can't actually see it. It's so quickly cut that you can't really tell what's going on. And then when you can see it, it looks totally unbelievable because the CGI is off. In a piece. In a... Would whoever is making that flapping sound quiet down?
Inner peace. Would whoever is making that flapping sound quiet down?
But hey, as I said at the start of this review, I liked some of the action, so let's talk about that. The chase scene was really cool, I did enjoy it, and often with this scene, it was the little things that were the most impressive. Let's throw back to Captain America the Winter Soldier, a movie that has a bunch of grand scale action. But you know what the best thing about that action is? When Bucky's doing all that cool knife stuff, it was great. And it was those smaller things in this Kraven scene that elevated it. There was this one quick shot where Kraven's running on this outside spiral staircase, and he's running on all fours like a lion, and he's running so fast that he's actually skidding into the outside walls. That was cool, and again, it's a small detail. Or when he's having to run past a bunch of different people and can't get round them, so has to swing on outside elements of a building. Again, it was these elements, these smaller things that made this action scene so cool. And then this scene evolves into this grander helicopter chase sequence, and this is where the film loses me a little bit because it gets bigger, grander. We introduce a bunch of CGI where unfortunately the pace and the perspective and the speed of Kraven just looks off, and as a result I was taken out of it. I was looking forward to seeing the Rhino fight. I don't really know why. I'd seen the design of Rhino in the trailers. I knew he looked pretty funky, but I like Rhino as a Spider-Man villain, and this fight was okay. But again, this scene is very quickly cut. It's very tricky a lot of the time to see what's going on. And again, when you can see what's going on, let's say when Rhino's just throwing Kraven into a truck or into the ground, the perspective, the speed, it looks off. It doesn't look real. So yeah, I guess the action's okay at best, but to be honest, there isn't even that much of it. And the plot in between the action, it's not engaging enough to keep you interested in the film. And case in point of this, you know how they released the first 8 minutes of this movie online? Well, straight after that, we cut to a flashback. And you're probably thinking, James, that's fine. Films do flashbacks all the time. And you'd be right. But do films ever do flashbacks that are like half an hour long? Because that's what happens in this film. Half an hour of teen, young Kraven and family. And I don't even know what happens in this flashback. Like, in a piece. In my opinion, if you're going to do an extended flashback sequence, at least give the time film to evolve into something more interesting and engaging for the audience, instead of straight away at the start of the film. There you go, there's a flashback sequence. It wasn't interesting, it was... I'm so tired of talking about this movie, I'm sorry. Guys, I'm really sorry if I've been a bit angry in this review, but this movie is not good. Overall, on the Rosenthal Reviews ranking, I'm going to give Kraven the Hunter a 1.5 out of 10. On the entertainment echelon, it's a 3 out of 10. I gave it more because if you can just go into this movie and laugh at it, which by the way, much of my audience was doing, you might have a good time. And on the feeling factor, throughout this film, you will feel bored. Well, there you have it, guys. This is probably the worst movie that I've seen this year. To be honest, I can only recommend that you don't go see it, as much as it pains me to say that. There are now reports as well that the Sony Spider-Man villain universe is now coming to an end, and to be honest, that makes me pretty happy. Given that I love the superhero genre, I will pretty much go and see anything with a comic book character in it, even if everyone under the sun is telling me it's bad. So if Sony just stops making these movies, it's going to spare my bank account. Okay, thank you very much for watching this pretty rageful review right until the very end. Have you seen Kraven the Hunter? Hunter? Did you enjoy it more than I did? Whatever your thoughts, let me know in the comments down below. Thankfully, we do still have a few more blockbusters before the year is out, the next one being Mufasa. Expect a review of that on my channel in the next week or so. But until then, thank you once again for watching this video, and please subscribe for more reactions and reflections, and I'll speak to you all very soon. Oh, you were expecting Rose and Tar reviews and credits. Well, this movie didn't have any, so apparently you're not getting any either. Man, this movie, I just freaking...